What's up guys, Cody with CDC Off-Road, and we want to make another quick video addressing the top 3 steering stabilizer myths. Now, so often we get a ton of phone calls, will a steering stabilizer work for me in this application, or will it fix X, Y, and Z for me? So we want to make a really quick video basically addressing the top 3 assumption that most customers come into what a steering stabilizer will address versus what it actually will address. Now, the first question we get is, will it improve the ride of my truck, or do I need it when upgrading my suspension? And the answer is yes and no. If you're not changing your tire size, you can actually get away with your stock steering stabilizer, as the stabilizer is not in any way, shape, or form a part of your suspension system. It is all a part of your steering linkage system. So if you're doing a leveling kit, 3-inch kit, even a 4.5-inch kit, and leaving your stock wheels and tires on for a while, you absolutely do not need to buy a steering stabilizer. With that said, a steering stabilizer absolutely is very useful in any application where we're going with an aggressive tire or a tire larger than stock. So for basically 95 to 98% of you who are buying a leveling kit or 3-inch kit or bigger, a steering stabilizer is absolutely a good idea. And so the biggest benefit of running these stabilizers with larger tires is fighting a radial pull. So very often you hear about, hey, I put bigger tires on my truck, it pulls to the right. I put bigger tires on my truck, it pulls to the left. Carlos Suspension and some of the other brands we carry actually build nitrogen charged stabilizers that are going to push opposite of that radial pull, and that's going to allow your truck to track straight down the highway, even at freeway speeds, right? So a lot of times in town with a Toyota MT and no stabilizer, you'll feel a slight right pull. However, once you hit the highway, the truck, if you actually let your hand off the steering wheel, will want to actually change lanes on you. So that is where, for instance, on both the well, basically all of the Ford trucks, as well as a good chunk of the Dodge trucks, the high mount steering stabilizer is going to push to the left, and what that's going to do is that's going to counteract that radial pull from the Toyota MTs and keep your truck tracking straight down the road. And that goes into the second point I want to make, dual stabilizers, right? So many guys talk about, hey, on Amazon, eBay, there's this dual steering stabilizer kit for 250 bucks. What's the difference? Why would I spend 300 or more on a steering stabilizer when I can have this set up with 2 shocks for the same price? And the benefit is, most of those basic or cheaper dual stabilizer kits, those aren't actually pushing any which way, and it's really just 2 basic shocks riding on your steering linkage. So for most intents and purposes, it really isn't correcting too much on the truck. However, once you go with a nitrogen charged shock, or a strong a shock that's pushing stiff against that radial pull, that's going to keep your truck tracking straight down the road. Again, very often we have customers who maybe haven't found us or haven't given us a call, and they will buy one of these eBay or Amazon dual stabilizer kits. With those and a Toyota MT, you can actually still experience a right-hand pull going down the highway. Now, there are a few dual stabilizer kits that we carry, mainly for the Ford trucks, that do utilize stronger shocks, so that I'm not referencing those. I'm really referencing the kind of the discount or the budget setups you see out there with 2 shocks that aren't even really nitrogen charged and don't really offer much resistance. Now, the wild card we have here is actually the Fox ATS stabilizers and now the new TS stabilizers. Now, neither of those stabilizers have a nitrogen push to them. However, the benefit of those stabilizers is an extremely stiff damping pressure in both directions. Those stabilizers are very stiff, and what they do is they don't really allow the truck to go either way, and so with that, it picks up a ton of your steering feedback instead of transferring it into your steering wheel. So those stabilizers are a little bit of a wild card, and I know that would probably be one of the first comments made in this video, so I didn't want to address those. Those are an excellent option, usually with something like a hybrid tire, like a Ridge Grappler, or even an RT. Sometimes with those, they don't really have a stiff pull one way or another, so the ATS is going to be an excellent solution with those, however a costly one. Now, the last myth that we want to address is going to be, my steering stabilizer fixed my death wobble. Now, if you look at how a steering stabilizer actually works, the steering stabilizer is a shock or a damper that is on your steering linkage. Now, death wobble is going to be some kind of play in your front end that basically reverberates and goes out of control, kind of like having an overinflated basketball or volleyball. You feel that basic undulation, and it just goes out of control. So a steering stabilizer, what it will do is it's going to keep those reverberations or undulations, or whatever technical term you want to use, it's going to keep those under control in your front end. So a lot of times when we get a truck in our shop that has death wobble, however has a good stabilizer on it, you can still feel wanting to get the death wobble, but the stabilizer keeps it under control. What I'm basically telling you is the steering stabilizer will control your death wobble, however it is not the remedy. Typically the remedy is bad ball joints, steering linkage, tires, and a few other small issues. However, the stabilizer will, again, control all of that bouncing and all that motion. It is not going to be the solution, especially steering linkage, guys. You know, hey, my steering's wore out, let me put a new stabilizer on it. You're going to greatly benefit from just putting new linkage on that truck versus a stabilizer. To that note, any kind of steering play you feel that is due to the linkage, the stabilizer, again, will not be the solution. However, it will be a band-aid. So, you know, if you have a buddy who goes, hey, I have 150,000 miles on the stock linkage, a stabilizer helped, it will help. However, his parts still are bouncing around underneath his truck. It just isn't the solution. So again, worn tie rod ends absolutely need to be replaced with fresh tie rod ends, and the steering stabilizer is just going to help the driving feel that little bit more. So yeah, if you have any more steering stabilizer questions, feel free to comment down below. We'll be happy to answer them for you. We pretty much carry most front end parts, whether it's the linkage, stabilizer, things like that, for both the Dodge Ram and Ford 3/4 ton and 1 ton trucks. So we're happy to help out any way we can. We'll have links down below for a couple example stabilizers, things like that, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.